will help get your soldiers on the field.
That's cool. Yeah, there they are. Yeah, we have to stay seated, they said.
Oh. You're supposed to stand up.
Today's family day ceremony. Remember, the graduation ceremony starts tomorrow at 0900 hours. Please collect all belongings and say.
Ew, my hair looks so bad. The wind grabbed. Let me put on your hat. No, I'm kidding. Come here.
This is a video, so smile like you're taking a picture. I'll screenshot out of it, maybe.
Perfect.
Here, let me get in there.
Okay, come on now, come on.
Oh yeah, it gets all of us.
My hair is so bad.
Ways.
What does the zoom go to on that? Just one. Oh. And mine goes to, a phone camera will go to like 7, 8, but you can't see anything.
Yeah, the digital zoom. Horrible.
It's just too wobbly. Unless you got braced on a tree or something.
But look at that, it goes all the way back to behind the tree line back there. That's actually what they're supposed to do, that run. Yeah, they're supposed to. It looks silly.
It shows them where to stop.
Yeah, there's a block in the ground. They're doing dress right dress. So they're just making sure the lines are like perfectly straight. So he's calling at anyone that's out. He's calling them to shuffle forward or back or left or right.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the Commanding General, Major General Darrell O. Hood, and the Post Command Sergeant Major, Command Sergeant Major Eric E. Oakes, welcome to the United States Army Training Center and Fort Jackson for the retirement review of 2 soldiers and graduation of companies Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, Delta, and Echo from the 3rd Battalion, 60th Infantry Regiment, 193rd Infantry Brigade. Please stand for the invocation given by Chaplain Kiskama Lemore.
That feels good.
Yeah. What needed that?
Let us pray. Our help is in the name of the Lord who made heaven and earth. Blessed be the name of the Lord now and forevermore. Lord, I invoke your presence on this assembly gathered here to witness this retirement and graduation ceremony. These new soldiers have completed basic combat training and are poised for advancement in their career. Pour out your choicest blessing on them. Keep them steadfast and loyal to the Army. Also, Lord, turn your countenance towards 1st Sergeant Danetha Bratton and Sergeant 1st Class Kit Fraser, who end their military career today. May the years ahead of them be rewarding. Watch over our guests and bless our CG, Brigade Commander, and especially the leadership of 360th. Renew the spirit of patriotism in each of us. We pray this in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Please be seated. The purpose of today's ceremony is to recognize the commitment of the men and women you see here who have chosen to serve their country as soldiers. This review is the last official formation in the careers of 2 lifelong soldiers and the first for our newest soldiers. Not everyone successfully completes this difficult period of training. Far fewer are able to accept the challenges and difficulties that come with the life of a career soldier. But those in formation today represent disciplined, motivated, physically fit soldiers who exemplify the Army's 7 core values: loyalty, duty, respect, selfless service, honor, integrity, and personal courage. They are imbued with the warrior ethos and display the tenets of putting the mission first, never accepting defeat, never quitting, and never leaving behind a fallen comrade. This is an important day, and these soldiers can take great pride in their accomplishments. To the parents, families, and friends of these soldiers, Fort Jackson extends a very warm and sincere welcome. We are justifiably proud of our retirees' lifelong dedication to our nation and are truly honored that the next generation standing in the field have chosen to join our ranks. Please direct your attention to the left of the formation. The units marching today from your left to right are the 282nd Army Band led by Sergeant First Class Michael Joseph. Graduating soldiers from companies Alpha and Bravo, the Battalion Color Guard, and graduating soldiers from companies Charlie, Delta, and Echo. Identified by their distinctive headgear are the drill sergeants. These dedicated, non-commissioned officers form the backbone of the Army's training center system, selected based on professional competence, leadership ability, and years of service. These men and women undergo intensive training to earn the right to wear their distinctive hat and insignia. With the drill sergeant hat goes the important responsibility of molding civilian men and women into soldiers. The commander of troops for today's ceremony is Major Marie R. Smith, who serves as the executive officer for the 3rd Battalion, 60th Infantry Regiment. She and the battalion staff are positioned on the field. The reviewing officer for today's graduation is the commander of the 3rd Battalion, 60th Infantry Regiment, Lieutenant Colonel Scott J. Haar. On his left is Command Sergeant Major Torrin P. Kern, the battalion's senior non-commissioned officer, master trainer, and principal advisor to the commander. The commander of troops will now bring forward the colors and persons to be honored. Competence and commitment are the hallmarks of professionalism. The soldiers and drill sergeant coming forward will be recognized for their excellence in training and duty performance and serve as examples to all. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the playing of the national anthem. It is appropriate for soldiers not in uniform and all armed forces veterans to salute the American flag. We ask our civilian guests to please remove your headgear and place your right hand over your heart as our national anthem is played. Please be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, you are about to witness the retirement of two lifelong soldiers. All soldiers begin their journey by graduating from basic combat training. Over the years, there have been changes to how the Army conducts basic training. However, many things remain the same. It was during basic training that these soldiers were first introduced to the Army values. It is where they learned the importance of teamwork and that the Army truly is a family. That sense of team and Army family is still embedded in what is done here today. Over 20 years ago, these soldiers took the same oath to defend this nation that your loved ones on the field have taken. We salute these great soldiers as they pass the torch of freedom along to the new generation of soldiers, your loved ones standing on the field today. A certificate of appreciation from the President of the United States will be presented to today's retirees. It reads, I extend to you my personal thanks and sincere appreciation of our grateful nation for your contribution of honorable service to our country. You have helped maintain the security of the nation during critical times in its history with a devotion to duty and a spirit of sacrifice in keeping with the proud traditions of military service. I trust that in the coming years you will maintain an active interest in the armed forces and the purpose for which you served. Those who follow in your footsteps will draw inspiration from your commitment, dedication, and sacrifices made to ensure the protection of our American freedoms. My best wishes to you for happiness and success in the future. A certificate of retirement from the Chief of Staff of the United States Army is also presented to today's retirees. And to today's retiree spouses, the Chief of Staff sends the following certificate. It reads, On the occasion of the retirement of your spouse from active status with the United States Army, you have earned our grateful appreciation for your unselfish, faithful, and devoted service. Your unfailing support and understanding helped to make possible your spouse's lasting contribution to the nation. At this time, Colonel Hutton and Command Sergeant Major Oakes will recognize our retirees for their service to the United States Army. First Sergeant Darnetta Bratton. Having served honorably for 35 years of service, was placed on the retirement list effective 30 October 2024. First Sergeant Bratton entered active duty in Richmond, Virginia, and will reside in Columbia, South Carolina upon retirement. Her fondest professional achievement is mastering the art of endurance through teamwork and numerous deployments. The nation salutes Darnetta Bratton, First Sergeant, United States Army, retired. Sergeant First Class Keith Frazier. Having served honorably for 20 years of service, is placed on the retirement list effective 31 December 2024. Sergeant First Class Frazier entered active duty in Fort Jackson, South Carolina, and will reside in Columbia, South Carolina upon retirement. His fondest professional achievement is graduating from the Drill Sergeant Academy and becoming a drill sergeant at Alpha Company, 3rd Battalion, 60th Infantry Regiment. The nation salutes Keith Frazier, Sergeant First Class, United States Army, retired. Please join me in a round of applause for our retirees and their families. So the newly retired, they will always be a part of our Army family. The non-commissioned officers most responsible for the training of these soldiers are the drill sergeants, who are carefully selected by the Department of the Army. The drill sergeant campaign hat and badge have been a stoic symbol of professionalism and pride since 1962. At this time, the drill sergeant of the cycle for the 3rd Battalion, 60th Infantry Regiment, Sergeant First Class Fernando Osoria, will recite the drill sergeant creed. We ask that all drill sergeants, past and present, please stand for the reciting of the drill sergeant creed. Ladies and gentlemen, Lieutenant Colonel Har and Command Sergeant Major Kern will now present the awards. The outstanding drill sergeant of the cycle for the 3rd Battalion, 60th Infantry Regiment is Sergeant First Class Fernando Osoria. The soldier leader of the cycle for Alpha Company is Private First Class Luis Aguilar. The soldier of the cycle for Alpha Company is Private Nathan Redfern. The soldier leader of the cycle for Bravo Company is Private First Class Joe Charfers. The soldier of the cycle for Bravo Company is Private First Class Gisela Jimenez. The soldier leader of the cycle for Charlie Company is Specialist Andrea Zuniga Garcia. The soldier of the cycle for Charlie Company is Private First Class Justin Taylor. The soldier leader of the cycle for Delta Company is Private Scott Schieber. The soldier of the cycle for Delta Company is Private Clayton Stock Friends. The soldier leader of the cycle for Echo Company is Private Kaylee Acosta. The soldier of the cycle for Echo Company is Private First Class Daquan Jackson. Ladies and gentlemen, the commander of the 3rd Battalion, 60th Infantry Regiment, Lieutenant Colonel Scott J. Har.
Good morning, everyone. How are we doing? All right. Hey, Colonel Hutton, Command Sergeant Major Oakes, Colonel Metters, Mrs. Metters, Command Sergeant Major Duncan, distinguished guests, and most importantly, the friends and family of Team River Raider, welcome. Thank you for joining us as we recognize the accomplishments of Basic Combat Training Class 24-04. Now look, hey, before I go any further, I want to stop and say thank you to the 282nd Army Band on the field with us today. They look, but even more importantly, they sound great. And so I invite you to join me in a round of applause thanking them for adding a touch of class to the ceremony today, like they always do. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we've got business to get down to today, don't we? That's right. Important business, recognizing the accomplishments of the Army's newest soldiers, your soldiers. And we're going to get to that in just a second. But first, I'd like to restate, renew, and re-emphasize our welcome to you all to Fort Jackson today. Look, this is a special place, and I hope you all felt it the moment you drove through those front gates this morning. I know that I did. I arrived here for the first time 5 months ago. Since 1917, this place, Fort Jackson, has played a near continuous and pivotal role preparing our nation to fight and win its wars. And today, almost 60,000, or over half of all new Army recruits, pass through these hallowed grounds just as your loved ones have. The history and heritage of this place is all around us. It's palpable and it's powerful. So I invite you while you're here to stop and read the plaques on the monuments and the artifacts that are scattered throughout this post. With your new soldier, visit our one-of-a-kind museum that tells the Fort Jackson story, which is an important part of our Army story. And if you make your way over to our footprint, 360th Infantry River Raiders Battalion Headquarters building, take note that there's citations on the walls and the names of the key facilities around you. They reflect our heritage, and it's a heritage your loved ones now share and will help us steward. In taking time to appreciate the history at Fort Jackson, you will be demonstrating in a powerful way your commitment to your new soldier and their chosen profession. And there are few places in all the United States that are better suited to make these connections than right here at Fort Jackson. Now, as I implore you to make these connections, I also want to thank you for raising the sons and the daughters and the loved ones with the personal attributes and inherent desire to serve our nation. First and foremost, the soldiers on the field today are a reflection of your efforts raising them. And I want to thank you for trusting us here at Fort Jackson with your most precious resources during their time here. And now, ladies and gentlemen, let's get down to business, shall we? Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you, standing on the field today, the new soldiers of Basic Combat Training Class 24-04. We here at Team River Raider and the rest of Team Jackson, we're in the business of producing and developing the finest soldiers, the finest people for service to our nation. And ladies and gentlemen, as you can clearly see on the field before you today, business here at Fort Jackson is booming, isn't it? Yeah. I'm so proud to be a part of our mission, making American soldiers. And not just American soldiers, but also American citizens. That's right. For among the soldiers on the field today are 116 newly minted American citizens who had the chance to be naturalized as part of their VCT experience. Please join me in a round of applause for these new Americans. Thank you. And I promise you, our nation and our future is in good hands with all of the soldiers that you see on the field today. They are our mission, and our mission is critical. Now, your soldiers' journey began 10 weeks ago when they arrived here at Fort Jackson in August. They hail from all 50 states and U.S. territories and over 36 countries from around the world. The beginning part of their training was about discipline, fitness, confidence, becoming a soldier. They endured countless inspections and learned how to march, become part of a team, and challenge themselves to improve their mental and physical toughness. And later on, their training was about gaining confidence in their military equipment as they wore their chemical protective masks in our gas chamber and learned to fire their weapon systems accurately at varying distances and under stress. They gained confidence in their leaders, their training, and again, in themselves. Each endured a series of challenging yet critical Army tasks designed to test their adaptability and mettle. They improved their mental and physical fortitude through daily physical fitness work and by marching great distances under heavy loads. Each of these tests of grit and discipline taught them the importance of being a reliable teammate and the importance of taking care of each other. Indeed, for many on the field today, these last 10 weeks have represented the single greatest challenge of their lives. Well, 1,147 have met that challenge and now stand proudly before you. To the River Raiders on the field, I want to say this. I'm honored to be your commander and inspired by your example of grit and determination. And these new soldiers now join the ranks of military professionals both past and present. And I just want to take this opportunity to recognize all those who have and continue to proudly serve our nation. I'd ask that all veterans and those serving in the U.S. military stand to be recognized. Please join me in a round of applause for these heroes. And again, to the soldiers on the field today, you are now a part of this sacred heritage, and you must do everything you can to honor and live up to their legacy. Now, these soldiers on the field today were led there by their amazing team of drill sergeants. This hand-selected group of elite experts represents the absolute best the Army has to offer in training soldiers. These drill sergeants work many long days and many long nights, sacrificing much but doing so with a sense of pride and purpose to transform your soldier into the type of individual who will one day uphold our legacy. Because of this intense commitment to training your soldiers, I'd ask that you seek out these drill sergeants as you encounter them today, recognized by their distinctive headgear, and offer them your heartfelt thanks, because we truly cannot thank them enough. And now, ladies and gentlemen, I want to address the River Raiders in the field directly one last time. River Raiders, you have met the call to service and sacrifice that many in our nation are unwilling or unable to make. And I'm truly impressed by your grit and determination to join this sacred profession of arms. You know, whether it was Private Stock Friends of Delta Company, whose relentless optimism radiated no matter what we threw at them, or the A-Train runners of Echo Company, who demanded more hills and more miles on company runs, or the Alpha Company Gators, who trudged through the torrential remnants of Hurricane Helene while gleefully belting out the Army song. These are just a few of 1,000 of your stories of grit and determination. Hold on to these attributes. They will serve you well going forward. Fewer than 1% of Americans elect to serve in our U.S. military, which makes you part of an elite few willing to give their last full measure of devotion and service to our nation. Take pride in the profession that you've joined. And while your victories may have started here at Fort Jackson, do not let them end here. Our nation needs you trained and ready for any situation. Remain vigilant as you head out into the Army world, to accomplish your mission. Each mission is unique, but critical to our Army, our nation, and our way of life. And finally today, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you all again, our extended Army families, for your love and support to your soldiers. And I'd ask that you continue to support them, because they have become something different, something better than they once were. They are now a part of the greatest Army in the world and will forever be a part of its legacy. River Raiders, no ground to give, and victory! Thank you.
Today's soldier is, above all, a warrior, adaptive, confident, and competent. As a soldier, you are totally committed to the warrior ethos, grounded in Army values, and determined to destroy enemies of the United States of America and her allies. The United States Army Soldiers Creed embodies this commitment. To the soldiers on the field, the uniform you wear at this moment is more than an outward display of a vocational choice. Your uniform is a symbol of a nation and an unspoken assurance to all who see that you are a willing and able protector of the freedoms fought so arduously for, by all who have gone for, and those who will bravely come after. You have become what you set out to be, a soldier in the United States Army. The Soldier's Creed is your declaration of your unshakable commitment to the ideals this nation was founded upon and will continue to guarantee. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand as Private First Class Joe Shar First presents a certificate of appreciation to today's retirees and leads the soldier setting before you through the reciting of the Soldier's Creed. Please be seated. In consideration of those around you, we ask that you please remain seated and in the bleachers until all soldiers have passed the reviewing stand and the conclusion of the ceremony is announced. As you are approached by the American flag, it is appropriate to rise and remain standing until it is passed to your right. Once the ceremony is concluded, family members of awardees may meet their soldier under the canopy located to the left of the bleachers. All other family members and friends, please meet your soldier on the field once instructed to do so. The 3rd Battalion, 60th Infantry, was constituted in May 1917 in the regular army as Charlie Company, 60th Infantry. It was organized in June 1917 at Gettysburg, Pennsylvania during the outset of the First World War. In November 1917, the regiment participated in the campaigns of Saint-Mihiel, Alsace-Lorraine, and finally in the war-ending campaign of the Meuse-Argonne. The battalion fought with superb distinction throughout the Second World War, beginning with the Algeria-French-Morocco invasion at Port Lyautey as part of Operation Torch. In February 1943, the battalion was an integral part of pushing Field Marshal Rommel's Africa Corps from the Kasserine Pass. In France, during the heroic days of June 1944, the battalion led the way for the division as it spearheaded the American advance out of the Utah beachhead that cut the Continent Peninsula and secured the vital port of Cherbourg. For the battalion's actions at the pivotal crossing of the Douve River, the battalion was awarded a Presidential Unit Citation. Following the final advance into Central Europe, the battalion received another Presidential Unit Citation for capturing the Schwalm-Emanuel Dam. The battalion was inactivated in November 1946 while in Ingolstadt, Germany. The battalion was selected to be one of the first units to return to the United States from Vietnam. On July 8, 1969, the unit was greeted by General William C. Westmoreland, a former commander of the 60th Infantry from 1945 to 1946, on their return to Seattle, Washington. And on August 1, 1969, the unit was deactivated at Fort Riley, Kansas. The battalion was finally called back to the active army on November 16, 2005 at Fort Jackson, South Carolina. The 360th instills the spirit of the Godell Regiment and the River Raiders Battalion into the hearts and minds of today's young fighting soldiers. Passing the reviewing stand is the Commander of Troops, Major Marie R. Smith, and the battalion staff. The 282nd Army Band is led by Sergeant First Class Michael Joseph. The drum major is Sergeant Jonathan Gifford.
See where Thea is? I thought she was in this group right here. This is Bravo. In there somewhere.
package. First platoon is led by Senior Drill Sergeant Peter Simotis and trained by Drill Sergeant Edgar Aguayo. Second platoon is led by Senior Drill Sergeant Kanaya Hippolyte and trained by Drill Sergeant Condon Bush. Third platoon is led by Senior Drill Sergeant Marshall Dennis and trained by Drill Sergeant Chantal Ruffin. First Sergeant Dustin Conrad. Ladies and gentlemen, as you are approaching the American flag is appropriate to rise and remain standing until it's passed to your right. Bravo Company is commanded by Captain Shalerpon Brownsey. First platoon is led and trained by Senior Drill Sergeant Caleb Williams. Second platoon is led and trained by Senior Drill Sergeant Courtney Gray.
There's Thea right there.
This group here?
Yeah, she's the second one back on this side. See her right there?
Oh yeah.
Third platoon is led and trained by Senior Drill Sergeant Dominic Damonto.
Stand for the flag.
Fourth platoon is led and trained by Senior Drill Sergeant Michael Nanez. In the rear of the formation is the company First Sergeant Matthew Medina. Please rise as the American flag passes to your right. Charlie Company is led by their company executive officer, First Lieutenant Tony Alberici. First platoon is led by Senior Drill Sergeant John Miller and trained by Drill Sergeant Letitia Wimpy. Second platoon is led by Senior Drill Sergeant Renee Sotomayor and trained by Drill Sergeant Desmond Parker. Third platoon is led by Senior Drill Sergeant Aaron Jenkson and trained by Drill Sergeant John Knight. Fourth platoon is led and trained by Senior Drill Sergeant Andrea Rodriguez. In the rear of the formation is the company First Sergeant Robert Addington.
Oh, this formation, they were all out of step. Oops. Yeah.
Delta Company is commanded by First Lieutenant Daniel Elmore. First platoon is led by Senior Drill Sergeant Billy O'Keefe and trained by Drill Sergeant Matthew Jenkins.
Yeah, that's so bad.
Second platoon is led by Senior Drill Sergeant Daniel Warrings and trained by Drill Sergeant Jose Cos.
All you gotta do is listen to the beat of the music.
3rd Platoon is led by Senior Drill Sergeant John Patrick Sunga and trained by Drill Sergeant Jaime Garcia. Fourth Platoon is led and trained by Senior Drill Sergeant Tucker Easter. In the rear of the formation is the company First Sergeant Dennis Ferris. Echo Company is commanded by Captain William Dietz. 1st Platoon is led by Senior Drill Sergeant Eric Eisenberger and trained by Drill Sergeant Jared Fortag. Second Platoon is led by Senior Drill Sergeant Sean Lewis and trained by Drill Sergeant Tatiana Woba. Third Platoon is led by Senior Drill Sergeant Colt Frisbee and trained by Drill Sergeant Andre Davis. Fourth Platoon is led by Senior Drill Sergeant Latoya Fudge and trained by Drill Sergeant Travis Green. The company First Sergeant is First Sergeant Chad Kennedy. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the Army song, and please remain in the bleachers until the conclusion of the ceremony is announced. Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes today's ceremony. Family members of awardees, please move to the canopy to the left of the bleachers.
You can see all the rain